Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian McCollum, and today we are taking a look at something that's not quite forgotten, but is getting close to it, and that is the Henry AR-7 survival rifle. Let's take a closer look, because this is a really interesting firearm. So I know what you're thinking. You're looking at this and saying, Ian, that's just the stock of a rifle. Well, you're right, but there's a little more to it than that. If you open up the back of the rifle, you'll find it also contains the barrel, the receiver with a magazine inserted, and two other magazines. And from there, you can assemble it into a proper functioning rifle. You would start, I'm going to do this without the magazine inserted because the owner of this firearm does keep it prepared. You would start by inserting the barrel onto the receiver, and it does push the bolt back just a little bit, and you engage this barrel nut. From there, you can take the receiver and insert it into the pistol grip of the stock and tighten it down. And for a little extra comfort, you can, in fact, put the cap back on the buttstock. It's a little tight because this is a watertight seal. This rifle is meant to be used as a survival rifle. So the AR-7 was developed in 1959 by none other than our favorite firearms developer, Eugene Stoner, known for such great hits as the AR-15 and AR-18. It was based on the AR-5, which was a bolt-action rifle chambered in .22 Hornet that took down very similarly to the AR-7, and it was adopted by the U.S. Air Force as a pilot's survival weapon. The AR-7, however, was not adopted by the U.S. Air Force and instead adopted by the Israeli Air Force sometime in the 1980s. There's not an exact date on record for when that happened. They made a few minor modifications to the rifle, but in essence it was still the same thing. It is still in military service, having served continuously with one organization or another from 1959 until today. It's been manufactured by several different companies over the years. From 1959 until 1973, it was manufactured by Armalite. In 1973 through 1990, it was manufactured by Charter Arms, and they manufactured a rifle variant as well as a pistol variant that they called the Explorer II, which still took down similarly, but it had a shorter length barrel and looked rather similar to a Mauser C96. In 1990, it was taken over by the Survival Arms Company and only lasted until 1997, at which point AR-7 Industries took over from 1998 until 2004 when they were bought out by Armalite. From 1997 until today, it is manufactured by the Henry Repeating Arms Company under the name AR-7. The specific model number is the H002B. Now, I mentioned that the buttstock was a watertight seal, and it is, in fact, a watertight seal, and the entire firearm only weighs 1.3 kilograms, which is just a hair under 2.5 pounds. It is, in fact, light enough to float, so that if you eject from your failing aircraft, you can then retrieve your weapon when it is floating in the water where you crashed. The entire thing, when deployed, is 889 millimeters long, which is 35 inches, and the barrel is exactly 16 inches long at 406 millimeters. It was intended to replace the M6 aircrew survival weapon, which was an over-under break-action firearm chambered in .22 Hornet and .410 shotgun shells. It was not adopted by the U.S. Air Force, although it did see a rather significant improvement over the existing pilot's survival weapon. It's a simple blowback operation chambered in .22 long rifle. It uses a steel bolt and barrel liner. The receiver is made mostly of aluminum, and pretty much everything else on the firearm is made of polymer. The rear sight is adjustable for elevation by loosening this screw and adjusting the plate up and down for your windage, and it does have two aperture sizes, one large and one small. The small one is rather impractical to use. It is quite small, in fact, and the larger of the two is far easier to use. The front sight is simple orange plastic, which makes it rather easy to pick up when using your iron sights, and it is drift adjustable for windage and can be easily done with the fingers, though I'm not going to here because the owner of this firearm does have it sighted in quite well already. The safety is a very simple rotating piece of sheet metal that blocks the trigger, which you can see right in there, and all that does when it is in the safe position, which is rearward, it blocks the trigger from moving. When in the fire position, it does allow the trigger to move and the hammer will fall. Disassembling the AR-7 for maintenance or cleaning is quite easy. Of course, you remove the barrel and stock assembly as you would for stowing the rifle. And to remove the bolt from the receiver housing, you just lift up on the charging handle, which does telescope in and out for stowage and use. You push slightly in on the bolt, just like that, and lift out on the charging handle, and that comes right out. From there, you just drop out your bolt assembly. This one is just a little bit sticky. There we go. And out comes your bolt with 2 recoil springs and your spring guide rod and buffer assembly. Because of this little U shape here, it does tend to catch on the ejector, which is sort of hard to see in here. There's a little copper piece just right there. You can barely make it out on camera, I think. It's just a little bit easier to see from the side there. And from there, there's not really much else to do because your firing pin is pinned in place, as is your extractor. This one has clearly been used quite a bit. It's got some fouling on there. But it's a simple blowback 22 long rifle, and there's not a lot to it. Reassembly is just the same thing in reverse. You put your recoil springs and guide rod and buffer assembly back onto the bolt and reinsert it into the receiver. Push back on the bolt with your finger, insert your charging handle, and you're done. Of course, stowing the rifle, it all goes back into the buttstock. There's a slot here for your receiver, though I am going to put in this magazine because there are only 2 slots for magazines in the buttstock, but it does make accommodations for 1 magazine in the receiver. So you will insert your receiver, your 2 spare magazines, and these do only fit in one way. They have a sort of trough or channel here on the magazine, which lines up with a guide in the buttstock. They fit in just like that. And then your barrel only fits in one way. There is a slot for your front sight to fit past, and it seats all the way in. It extends all the way out here. Actually, it even goes further than that, up right to the pistol grip. You can see one side is fatter than the other, and that is where the barrel rests. And then you just replace your butt plate, and there you have it. While the AR-7 didn't see any wide adoption through militaries other than the Israeli Air Force, it is quite popular amongst civilians in the backpacking and hiking and boating hobbies, because it is a very simple sort of survival rifle that has no frills on it, but is rather hard to lose in a boating accident if you're prone to such things. At any rate, this has been a rather interesting little firearm to take a look at. Certainly a fun little plinker, and even if you don't accidentally almost lose it in a boating accident, it's still quite compact and fits easily in a backpack for when you're hiking. So, I hope you learned a little something that you didn't know already about the Henry AR-7 survival rifle. Thanks for watching.